Hello everyone, welcome back to Fart on the Telly. In today's video, we are breaking down the newest episode of AOT, the final season, episode 23. An episode in which we get the return of Levi Ackerman, as well as all of Annie's backstory. We'll be going over all the small details and questions you might have, including Armin's failure, as well as how Connie Tricks Falco. If you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out our other AOT content. Let's go. Our episode begins on Island Paradise, and wow, is it looking rough after the walls came a-tumbling down. As no one knew Eren would be destroying all the walls and letting loose every titan, many civilians were caught unprepared. Hundreds of homes being destroyed and civilians dead. As the Eldian bodies pile up in Paradise, many begin to question if Eren's actions were truly the right ones. Much of the island is split between Eren's supporters, who view Eren's actions as Eldia's last resort, and others who just see Eren as a villain willing to kill Eldians in order to achieve his goals. A riot ensues. Hitch returns back to HQ to fetch riot gear. She notices this door is left ajar with a trail of liquid coming from it. The trail leads from the room Annie's Titan crystal has been in all these years. Annie has intentionally left the liquid here as a trap for whoever would come walking down. Unfortunately, Annie didn't plan for the person to be Hitch, the MP who's been in charge of looking after her crystal over the last 4 years. Annie, having not moved for 4 years, is easily bested physically by Hitch. However, Annie, being a Titan shifter, forces Hitch to take her to the stables for fear of her transforming. Annie explains to us that the 4 years in the crystal were much like a dream, where she could only really hear Armin and Hitch's voices. Hitch has agreed to take Annie out of the city. On the ride, Annie makes Hitch listen to her life story, seeing as Annie spent 4 years listening to her. We find out Annie was the product of a wealthy Marley citizen and an Eldian. Because of this, she was abandoned at birth. Here she was adopted by Mr. Lionheart, an Eldian. Mr. Lionheart was a cold, brutal man with a martial arts background from a corn country. He would train Annie every day and night in this martial arts in order to craft her into the perfect warrior candidate, so he could become an honorary Marleyan. Mr. Lionheart's physical abuse of Annie eventually took away all her want to live or care from life. From her perspective, nothing had any meaning anymore. Once she was strong enough, Annie took her revenge on her adopted father, beating him so bad he suffered permanent damage to his leg, hence why we see him limp everywhere. On the morning of Annie's deployment to Paradise, Mr. Lionheart dropped to his knees, apologizing to her and begging her not to leave. Mr. Lionheart's true feelings as if Annie was his own daughter, and her dying would make it all worthless. From this point onward, Annie's only motivation has been for her to return alive to her father. This explains a lot of Annie's previous actions throughout the show, as she has constantly been desperate to return home. Back over to Marley, we see that the Eldians who reside here, which were given Eren's warning, struggle to explain to the Marley soldiers that the rumbling is coming. The Marleyans have started to round up all the Eldians, believing this must be some sort of trick. It's here we see that even people like Annie and Reiner's parents are treated the same as any other Eldian. I guess honorary Marleyan doesn't really mean that much. Mr. Lionheart remembers Annie's promise to return, and in this moment, he turns facing the guard. As we hear the sound of gunfire, the scene transitions. Back over to Paradise, as Shadis hears the sound of gunfire. Very smooth transition, I gotta say. Armin is determined to try to stop Connie in order to earn Gabby's trust. Mikasa makes the unfortunate mistake of asking what they should do about Eren. Armin just absolutely loses it. Out of all the issues Armin feels like he has to deal with, like finding Levi and Hanji, dealing with the civilian casualties, and a potential threat on Queen Historia, Eren is the last thing on the list. He apologizes to Mikasa, realizing something. He thinks that it should have been Commander Erwin who was saved, as he would have been able to handle these situations. Here Armin fails the one task Levi asked of him on the day Armin was saved. Don't make anyone regret their choice, especially himself. Back over to Floch and the volunteers, Floch explains why he should be the one leading Island Paradise. He says 10 months earlier, Eren told him he planned to betray Zeke, and Floch had been planning ever since. He forces the volunteers to either submit or die, as their home nations are doomed to the rumbling. Quite the betrayal here, as the volunteers wanted to help the Eldians and believed that they were partners in the fight against Marley. John finally, it seems, has what he's been searching for. A comfy life in the interior where he doesn't have to fight anymore. John, it seems, is struggling with his inner wants versus what he knows is the right thing to do. It looks like in the future, Jean's going to have to make a tough choice. Mikasa asks Floch what's happening to Hanji and Levi. He tells her they were killed by Zeke, a lie in order to convince Mikasa he had nothing to do with Levi's death. Next, we're taken to Falco and Connie riding on horseback. Falco has some short-term amnesia, it seems. The last thing he remembers was meeting with Colt and Gabby. Connie is taking Falco south to his mother, but he tells Falco he's taking him to a hospital in order to treat his amnesia. You see, Falco seems to have no idea he possesses the Jaw Titan, which also means he doesn't know that his brother is dead. Connie has taken advantage of Falco's memory loss, and we already seen a bit of guilt beginning to form in Connie's mind. Falco seems to feel like he has seen Connie before, most likely referring to the moment in the airship when Connie announced Sasha's death. Damn, doesn't that feel like ages ago now? We see the Cart Titan and General Magath watching Marley airships return home to warn their people. Hanji just rolls up on them. It seems she's managed to patch up Levi, who thank God is not dead. Thank goodness. At this moment, both sides have very similar motivations and goals. They both want to stop Eren, as they don't agree with his end goals or even his methods. It seems we have a potential anti-Eren alliance being formed, but I guess we'll have to wait for more on that next week. As always, guys, if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Click on some of our AOT videos on screen now, and I'll see you all in the next one. As always, guys, peace, love, adieu.